to our kids, to my own kids, to their friends, knowing that something was completely broken, getting the data from health experts in our state, and just seeing the rise in anxiety, depression, and self-harm with our young people. And so I met with legislative leadership during the summer. So this would have been 2 years ago. And I said, hey, look, I'm really concerned about this. We need to do something. We have some ideas. Is anybody willing to jump in? And I was grateful that they did. We passed some of the first and most expansive legislation in the country around holding social media companies accountable. And that was a great start. And then we came back together this year with some new ideas, some big ideas, some bold ideas, and some that weren't even our ideas, and that were better than what we had thought of. And again, legislators jumped in. You're going to hear from our three lead sponsors, and we had 3 floor sponsors as well on these bills who took the laboring oar and again made these bills better than what we had even imagined. And once again, I can say a couple states started to leapfrog us. Once again, we are back at the forefront in redefining the landscape, not just here in the United States, but these are bills that will have impact globally. And so I couldn't be more proud of what's happening. Jonathan Haidt was on a podcast earlier this week. Jonathan Haidt, who wrote the book Anxious Generation, something I encourage everyone to read. If you're a parent, you have to read it. If you're a grandparent, you have to read it. If you're an aunt and uncle, you have to read it. If you're a kid, you have to read it. I just feel it's that important. But on that podcast, somebody sent it to me. I wasn't listening to it. The Ezra Klein podcast at the 37-minute mark. If you want to go listen, I don't. But at that 37-minute mark, they bring up Utah as an example. And specifically, they said that Utah is trying to be the most family-friendly state in the nation. I don't think we're just trying, I think we're succeeding. We care about kids and strengthening families, strengthening parents. I remember getting criticism 2 years ago for our first social media bills that we were trying to be a nanny state and take power away from parents. And it's the exact opposite. What we are trying to do is to give parents and families back the power over these destructive and corrosive apps and cell phones, frankly. And what we're trying to empower them. We're trying to give them their identities back, and not just parents and our kids, but all of us trying to get back what has been lost. I truly believe it's our free will that's being taken from us. I think it's very intentional. We know that from the leaks that have come out, and we know it's going to get worse with the advent of AI. These social graphs, again, our identities, they will know more about us than we know about ourselves. They know how to trick our brains, to use the dopamine effects, these addictive qualities, to get us constantly addicted to it. And the downstream effect of it are ruinous for our society. It's not just the anxiety, depression, and self-harm that I mentioned, but it's literally tearing us apart as the fabric of our country. It's making us hate each other as we get addicted to the outrage that is out there. And again, I think it's worse than that. We now know that something happened around 2010 to 2012 where developed countries stopped having kids, and so demographically it's destroying us as well. All of these problems are downstream of this, and we've taken some steps to get that back. So I'm going to stop talking, but I just can't thank these legislators here enough. I'm proud of you. I know how hard this can be. We're talking about the wealthiest companies in the history of the world, and they have lots of money to spend on lobbyists, and they tried really, really hard to make these things not happen, and you did it anyway, and that is true courage, and so we can hold our heads high that we're doing good things. We're doing the right things. Now, what we will do here is I would like to have the sponsors come up and talk about their bills. I always like to remind people that this is a ceremonial signing. I've actually already signed your bill, so you don't have to convince me. But I do want you to share kind of the why behind what you did, anything you want to talk about the bill, and then this is also your opportunity to thank the people who helped you. And then what we will do is we'll have you come and stand behind us. We would like you to invite everybody that helped you, anybody you want to be here for the photograph. We have 3 ceremonial copies of each bill, so it does take us a minute to sign all 3 of them. There's always this little awkward pause where we're all standing there, and then we'll take a picture together, and then to the bill sponsors, you can decide who gets the 3 copies of those bills. But we will go in this order. The first bill will be HB 418, data sharing amendments. The sponsor was Representative Fia. The floor sponsor was Senator McKell. Following that, we will have SB 142, the App Store Accountability Act, and then SB 178, Devices in Public School. So Representative Fia, welcome.
Thank you, Governor Cox, and thank you all for being here. It is an incredible honor to be standing here before you, surrounded by leaders who understand that the decisions we make today will shape the digital world for our children who will inherit it tomorrow. Now, this morning I asked my wife Jocelyn if we could check our 3 girls out of school so that they could be here today, so that they could witness history. She kindly smiled and said no. It's a battle I lost, but at home, that's regular, so I was okay with it. But I wanted my 3 girls here today so that they could look back on today's history and say, that was the moment that social media platforms changed, and Utah led the way. That's what HB 418 is. It's a shifting point. It is the turning point. It's a moment in history where we choose people over platforms, families over profit, the greater good over an unchecked algorithm. It's where we shift power back to where it always should have remained, with the people, with Utahns. And we allow people, starting today, to own, manage, and control their data on social media platforms. We no longer have to say we're okay with the status quo. We together can shape the future digital world so that our kids can thrive, not just survive online. Special thanks and gratitude goes to Governor Spencer Cox for his vision, his leadership. We could not have done this without his support from the very beginning. To Senator Mike McKell and his unwavering partnership in the Senate, both to Senate and House leadership, recognizing the importance and the urgency around this issue and helping us get across the finish line. And last but not least, the Project Liberty team. We have Frank McCourt, Tomaika Tilleman, their vision, their leadership, and their tireless advocacy for a healthier and safer internet. Now, this bill is just a bold step forward, but the work is not done. It's just beginning. And so let us continue to protect and fight for our families, for our community, for the general public. Let us work so that the future generation can look back and say, Utah showed us the way. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Fia. Could we invite Project Liberty and others who participated in this to come and join us? I'm going to say a little something about this. I so appreciate our team. Thank you to the Department of Commerce for the great work in helping to move this forward. I don't think most people understand how groundbreaking this bill is. It is the first of its kind in the country, and it really does have the potential to change everything, to break up the monopolies, to give us, again, back our identity. And I want to thank Frank and Tomaika especially for their technical expertise, for inspiring me. I mentioned one book. I'm going to mention another book. You need to read Frank's book. It's incredible about this biggest fight that we are in to save our nation and to save our kids. It inspired me. It was that book I took to leadership, and from there they said we have this freshman legislator, and I'm like, I don't know. This is a big one. And he never wavered. Doug, thank you. This is as big a piece of legislation as I have ever seen a freshman run, and to get it across the finish line is huge. So congratulations. I'll stop talking and we'll actually sign these now. We're getting better at this after 5 years. Okay, we'll hold these up and smile. Look at the camera there in the middle. Excellent. Congratulations, you guys. Well done. Okay, next up, when I mentioned there was one that we didn't plan on, and I'm really excited about, and that is Senator Weiler's App Store Accountability Act. The chief sponsor, Senator Weiler. The House sponsor was Representative Jim Dunnigan, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, and Melissa McKay and Merv Arnold, who are here, have been working on this for about 3 years, but I get all the credit. So I had a lot of help on this bill, and so something happened in the last 20 years that none of you noticed, and let me just frame it this way. Everyone in this room knows, and every first-year law school student learns, that kids can't enter contracts. We all know this, and I had to kind of shake some of my legislative colleagues. I had to kind of shake them up, and I said, "Have you ever rented a car?" And they look at me and say, "Of course." Did Hertz ask your 12-year-old to sign the contract? No. Why would they? Have you ever refinanced your house? Well, yeah. Did the mortgage company ask your kids to sign the contract? These are ludicrous questions, but I had to break people out of their thinking, because every time someone downloads an app, or an app changes it and it pops up and says, "Do you accept these terms and conditions?" we're allowing our 11-year-olds, our 13-year-olds, our 15-year-olds to enter into binding contracts. And you might say, big deal. Well, these contracts will often say, they're often giving permission to collect their data, sometimes to access their microphone or even their cameras, to use their data, to sell their data. When I was a kid, when I was 11 years old, the only way to access me, at home would be through one landline that was in the kitchen, and my parents usually answered it. Now, we have app developers accessing our kids in the middle of the night in their bedrooms. And everyone seemingly is okay with this. And this bill says this is not okay. My favorite part of this story is I had banks and credit unions coming to me and saying, "Hey, we don't have any porn on our apps, our banking apps. Can you opt us out of this bill?" And I said, "Let me ask you this question. Okay, if an 11-year-old walked into your bank without their parents, would you let them open an account?" "Well, no, of course we wouldn't." "Okay. Well, then why do you think it's okay for an 11-year-old to sign a contract to use your app?" "Well, we don't have any porn." This isn't about porn. I've run a lot of bills about porn, so I understand the confusion. This is a contract bill. I also want to thank Representative Dunnigan, because we did have a small army of lobbyists working against this bill, and I was glad to hand it off to him for a while, and he was not glad. But thank you, everyone. This is a very good bill, a very important piece of legislation. So everyone come forward. Utah Parents United, anyone that wants to come forward, please come forward. I had a lot of help. Also, I should mention, Governor, the UCOSI, Utah Center on Sexual Exploitation, they did a lot of work on this behind the scenes.
Thank you, Senator. Thank you, Representative Dunnigan. Thank you to Utah Parents United and everybody who worked so hard on this. I did love how you summed up, this is a good bill. I appreciated that, and we're going to sign it again. There you go. I'm going to make one suggestion. Senator, can we put you in the middle? Is that okay? All right, everybody look in the middle and smile. Here we go. Excellent. Well done. Thank you. Well done. Some of the folks up here have been working on this for a long, long, long time. Okay, last, but certainly not least, again, one of my favorite bills, something we've been pushing for quite a while. This is SB 178, Devices in Public Schools. The sponsor is Senator Fillmore, and the floor sponsor is Representative Walton. Senator Fillmore.
Thank you. I want to start by thanking Doug Welton, who's not here because he's a teacher and he's teaching. And he came to this with the zeal of the converted, because as a teacher he'd seen over time what the impact is on kids. A version of a bill like this ran a year or two ago, and Welton was opposed to it. But just watching how it affects kids in classrooms changed his mind, and changed his mind quickly and strongly. This is another example, like some of these others that Senator Weiler talked about, and that Representative Fiafia talked about, is that if we had known today, or if we had known, those number of years ago when all this started, right, what we know today, or realized back then what we know today, this never would have happened. The state would not have stayed silent. Silence is a policy choice, and that policy choice has a consequence. That when the state says, whatever you want to do, that's the consequence on schools is, schools, these dangerous devices are going to be all over in your buildings, in your classrooms. They're going to be distracting kids. It's going to be preventing them from making friends. It's going to be exposing them to pornography in school. You guys figure out how you want to limit the damage. By changing that default to cell phones are allowed everywhere, except as a school district decides to restrict them, the new policy is cell phones are not allowed in class unless a school district decides there's a better way that we can use these to help our students thrive. That is the policy choice consequence that we were after with this bill. The most dangerous thing that cell phones do in schools is tap kids on the shoulder every 5 minutes and let them know that somebody you've never met just said something interesting on the internet. Don't you want to check it out? That constant vibration in the pocket or ding in the earbud is just so distracting and creates such that dopamine that it turns school into, I am constantly under the fear of missing out on what is going on in the virtual world apart from me. I'm surrounded by my peers and friends in what the most formative time in my life, and I'm focused on Taylor Swift. So that's why we ran Senate Bill 178. I want to thank the Policy Project. Robin Rich is here, and I see some others in red. You'll come up and join me. I appreciate all the work that they did on this too. And again, really want to thank Doug Welton. I'm going to save the third one. Oh, you made it.
He's
Doug,
here.
what are you doing? Thank you. All right. Doug, I'm so glad you're here. So it means we can get you your thing. I was really worried how I was going to get to say it this to you. So anyway, thank you so much. I really appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Doug, is there anything you want to add? You're welcome to.
I'll be really quick. This is an important piece of legislation. One of the things that I've worked on as a teacher is we spend millions and millions of dollars on mental health, counselors, and a lot of things like that, and it costs a lot of money. And it seems like one of the basic things that we could do to cut down on all that expense and to increase mental health for our students is to eliminate cell phones in schools. It's powerful, it's impactful, but this only works if everybody steps up to the game. We need parents, we need administrators, and we need teachers. And the one fear that I have is that this is going to continue to be a teacher-only policy, and we need our administrators to step up, and we need them to help out with this policy, and we need our parents as well. And I think we'll see some tremendous changes, and so I'm excited for this. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Welton. Well done. All right, let's invite up the Policy Project and others who worked on this. Please come and join us. I am going to say a couple words about this one. First of all, this is, again, maybe one of the most important things we've done in a decade in our state when it comes to helping our kids and education outcomes. When I said Utah is leading the nation when it comes to social media and cell phones and protecting our kids, I can't quite say that about this bill yet. Sadly, we didn't get bell to bell. I'm hoping that we can come back and work on that. I was just with Sarah Huckabee Sanders. Let's have you guys scoot up just a little bit. I was with Sarah Huckabee Sanders, the governor of Arkansas, and she was giving me a hard time because in Arkansas they got bell to bell, but we didn't hear. And then I heard from Glenn Youngkin, the governor of Virginia, another Republican colleague. They're working on bell to bell right now. We didn't get bell to bell here. I just can't let this moment pass to say it is a mistake not to do bell to bell. All of the research is 100% clear that bell to bell protects our kids so much more than going to recess and getting on your phones, going to lunch and immediately being back on your phones. So I hope we're not done here. Now, the good news is schools can still do bell to bell. The other thing I will say, in every single red state or blue state where a school has done bell to bell, they have seen unbelievable changes. The increases in testing scores, the increases in attention go through the roof. The decrease, and this is maybe the most important thing, the decrease in mental health issues, the decrease in fighting and bullying, behavioral issues, all go down substantially. And so this is a huge first step for us. The other thing I just want to say, schools here in Utah that have already tried this, what they see is the first couple days it's a little rough, like when you take drugs away from an addict. Parents there are a lot of upset parents those first couple days who don't believe in it, and then something magical happens. They all become converted. The teachers, the administrators, the parents become converted and come back and say, I was wrong. I've seen it. And maybe more important than anything else, the students become converted because they know the harm this is doing, and they feel so liberated when we get it away from them. So thank you for taking this on. I'll stop talking and start signing. Got our sponsors in the middle, okay? Copy for each. All right, and show us where we're.
Right here. All right. 1, 2, 3.
Excellent. Well done, everybody. Again, you can see the number of people it takes to get big policy moving forward. We're so proud of all of you. Thank you. That concludes our signing ceremony for the day. Legislators, there may be some media who want to chat with you. But again, thank you. We hope you have some wonderful time off. Hope you got some time off. We're excited to get some time off eventually. But that day will come. Congratulations and thank you.